So, we got ourselves a couple news stories, a few news stories. One of them is probably the biggest story of the week. The other two are just kind of like, stories. I guess it would be the best way to describe them. The first one we're going to talk about, WB Games has decided to pull the plug on the Wonder Woman game that was being developed by Monolith Studios, which, by the way, that was something that was announced a few years back, was that they were making they're having Monolith make a Wonder Woman game. Monolith, if you guys don't know, they are the developers of the Middle-earth games, both Shadow of Mordor and Shadow of War. I didn't realize they're also the developers of the game series Fear, which I think it's an FPS on the PS2. It's like really popular. I've not played them myself, but yeah, this was gonna be another game that was gonna use the Nemesis system, which, if you guys don't know, that was the mechanic that is that makes the Middle-earth games iconic. Is one of the most iconic game mechanics ever created. Unfortunately, WB patented it, so no other developer can use that mechanic in their games, and it was reportedly going to be used in this Wonder Woman game, which people were kind of confused as to how it was going to work. And I guess, from what I could recall, they were going to use the Nemesis system in a way that was going to be like, you help people out and then they help you out in they're allies in a sense, which completely goes against the name of the mechanic. It's called the Nemesis system for a reason, not a making friends mechanic. And I guess that's what they were going to use that for. But there have been a couple reports from the past couple weeks of them, there being like development issues and all that. And today they announced that they were gonna, this from Jason Schreier and Bloomberg and all that. They've decided to pull the plug on the Wonder Woman game, but on top of that, at the same time, it seems that WB has also gone ahead and shut down Monolith Studios, which I don't know why they made this decision. Because it's not like their track record was entirely bad before the Wonder Woman development. And unless you could argue Shadow of War with the shitty microtransaction bullshit that plagued that game on its release. But they did eventually learn their lesson with that game and made it better. So it's not like they had an entirely terrible track record, so I don't know what their reason was for shutting Monolith down. Some speculation could be that they're trying to keep Rocksteady afloat, because this, perfect segue into my next story. It has been reported on that Rocksteady is working on a Batman Beyond game, because, hey, we tried to do something different. We tried to do something with a pretty popular IP in the DC universe, but we fucked it up immensely by having it be a crappy live service game with a very shitty plot. For those of you who don't know, I'm talking about the Suicide Squad game, which is shutting down later this year. So I guess they're like, well, we messed up a Suicide Squad game. I guess we're not going to touch that anymore. So we're just going to go back to what we know is going to sell, which is a Batman game. Which admittedly is an issue that the gaming space in DC needs to... It's something that WB needs to fix. Because there can be good DC games. It's just that, unfortunately, it seems like whenever one DC hero hits rock bottom with a game, they just refuse to do any more games on that superhero. It's why we haven't had like a proper Superman game like at all in like recent years. And like the last really good set of DC games that we got were the Injustice games, but those are fighting games, and we know that like in fighting games, for as good as both those games were, like fighting games just isn't everyone's cup of tea. They want like an action adventure game with some of these superheroes. And you know, personally, you know, I would kind of like if they did it right. Give me a multiplayer Teen Titans game. I think that could be fun. Again, if they do it right, because again, WB. It doesn't have a great track record with multiplayer DC games. Look at Multiversus. Look at what they did to that game. And guess what is shutting down? Multiversus. Suicide Squad. Also. Comic Titans. Comic Titans. If we're gonna do Cartoon Titans, then it's gotta be OG Teen Titans. The original Teen Titans show on Cartoon Network. But, yeah, like, Multiversus didn't do so well. What was it? I lost Suicide Squad. Did not do well at all. And actually, you know, I'll backtrack a bit. Multiversus did do well initially, but then they added all the microtransaction bullshit, which killed that game. And then yeah, no, Suicide Squad, that seemed like, I feel like that was just kind of destined to fail the moment they started talking about like live servicey stuff. And then Gotham Knights could have, like, I still haven't played Gotham Knights yet. I have it, I just haven't played it yet. And from what I understand, that game could have been fun if they didn't drop the ball on it not being a 4-player co-op game. Because they could have really had something going in there for Gotham Knights. But, you know, I guess you can only play up to 2 players for that, which is like, why? You got 4 characters, why not? You have the capabilities of making it a 4-player co-op game. Why not have it be a 4-player co-op, you know? But, yeah. But that does, going back to the Wonder Woman story, there's kind of some speculation as to, the possibility that WB WB closed down Monolith so that they could try and keep Rocksteady Studios up for them to then make that Batman Beyond game. And you know, only time will tell if that Beyond game will bear any fruit or not. Obviously, this is like the first I've heard of it, so I just have to wait and see what happens. Will going back to the formula work, or will WB will they vastly fuck up this new Batman game and then shut Rocksteady down? We're gonna have to wait and see. But the third story I want to touch on tonight, the new Fable game that was announced, I think, at the Game Awards a couple of years ago. Yeah, the new Fable game has been delayed to 2026. I have still yet to play the Fable games. They're all on Game Pass, so there's really no reason why I shouldn't play them. But dude, I'm already doing so many RPGs, like just starting off this year alone. Because, you know, we got Shadow of War, which we're finishing up on Friday. We got the Kingdoms of Amalur playthrough that we're doing. And on my downtime, I'm playing both Avowed and Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. Which I will give a couple more thoughts. No, I think any of my other thoughts I had on Avowed I already spoke about on the news from the bunker this week. So never mind that. But I kind of hope that they take the feedback just from the trailer, because even from looking at the trailer for the new Fable game, it didn't really strike me as Fable. It didn't look like Fable. I've seen what Fable looks like, and this don't really look like Fable. So hopefully they fix whatever they need to fix. They get that from the player feedback from the from the trailer. I know trailers are kind of like being unfair. You want to wait and see what the gameplay and everything looks like to really like do that, but I don't know. I think just the amount of indifference was enough to probably warrant the delay. We're gonna have to wait and see. Not entirely sure, but yeah, that's kind of the last one I got for tonight. Yeah, Wonder Woman canceled. Rest in peace, Monolith. Please don't mess up a Batman Beyond game, Rocksteady, by extension WB, and Fable. Maybe it was a good thing that you got delayed, because this year is already stacked with a bunch of really great looking games as it is. Did anyone, by chance, watch well, they called it a cast announcement. It may as well just be a teaser trailer. Because that's what it was at the end of the day. Did anyone watch the teaser trailer for Shrek 5? Because I got some thoughts. Then the whole internet has got some thoughts on the Shrek 5 teaser. I will say this like right off the bat. I don't get the hate on Zendaya. I really don't. I don't hate that she's here. I also don't entirely see why she's, I don't know. I don't have an issue. She's a good actor. That's really all it is. But yeah, speaking of Zendaya's in this movie, she's voicing one of Shrek's children. The only daughter I think he had, which by the way, apparently his daughter's name is Felicia. So you already know what joke they're gonna make within like possibly the first 5 minutes of the movie. But my immediate question is, where are the other kids at? Where are Shrek's other 2 children? He had 3. And because the only characters they showed were Fiona, Shrek, Felicia, Donkey, and Pinocchio. No other characters were shown off in this. Now, not to say they won't appear in this movie. They probably will. So it then just kind of led into one of the speculations as to what the story of Shrek 5 is going to be. Because people are speculating that Felicia is going to be the rebellious teenage daughter, and that both the brothers are going to be, you know, are going to like help her, be like side characters and all that. Typical stuff. I still don't know what to think about the updated art style for the characters. Like, I don't like it, but I also don't necessarily hate it. Because, like, firstly, the last most recent Shrek film we had, obviously, was Shrek 4. Which, that already had like, really great animation. I don't know why they didn't just default to that. An art style that everybody is familiar with. So I'm a little bit confused on that. What gets me, though, this is such an odd thing, but the one thing that just put me off from that whole trailer was their teeth. I don't know why, but their teeth, like, for some reason, just look weird to me. Like, I don't know what it is. It just threw me off, okay? The teeth threw me off. But the main sort of red flag I saw with this trailer is that because to sum this trailer up, it shows the magic mirror. It shows the magic mirror on the wall, which they use as a smartphone. I don't know. I can't say I'm entirely surprised they're using the magic mirror as a smartphone. But they immediately start acknowledging the meme culture of Shrek by showing like 3 memes. Either they were pulled directly from the internet, or maybe they did like a workers contest thing. Like, hey, post your best Shrek meme and we'll feature it in the movie. I don't know. But that's already a red flag to me. The fact they're trying to be like self-aware and like meta about their fan base. and there are good ways to go about doing that, and there are bad ways to go about doing that and trying to be like self-aware about the whole thing. A good example I can pull from, at least in recent years, is actually the first Sonic movie. Because the first Sonic movie has, because you know, in the first, this is spoiler warning just in case you haven't seen the first Sonic movie. I'd recommend you go watch it. It's a good movie. Sonic is basically trying to hide himself from the town of Green Hills, but there's this one old guy that basically found him. He has seen Sonic, and so he tries to draw a picture of Sonic to show to the show the townspeople, and the picture he ends up drawing is Sonic the Hedgehog. That's like that's like subtle enough. That's like both subtle and self-aware enough to where like casual audience members are gonna be like, oh haha, dude is acting like he found a cryptid in the forest. He's acting like he found Bigfoot. Look at this crappy drawing he made. That funny joke. But like the diehard fans are gonna recognize that as, oh, that's Sonic the Hedgehog. Like that's a good way to like acknowledge the sort of meme culture of the IP, of the fan base of the IP that you're doing the movie on. The bad way of doing that is like I would argue Velma. Because Velma was very self-aware, which is part of the reason why that show flopped. It is a terrible show. Another example is Megamind, the most recent Megamind sequel movie slash television series, where the entire marketing for that movie was just, hey guys, guess what? We're finally doing a sequel. This is what you guys asked for, right? And you know, the sequel ended up not doing well. And like that's another bad way of doing it. And this is kind of another reason. There's like another thing that I'm like, I really hope that this self-awareness doesn't like reek throughout the entire movie. Because how I would do it, right? If you're gonna try and acknowledge the meme culture of the Shrek fan base, this is how you do it. You get a scene, right? Because I'm not entirely surprised that they're doing this, because Shrek has always been a mockery of like pop culture media, which is why in Shrek 2, Far Far Away is literally just Hollywood Boulevard. That's all it is. So the fact that the magic mirror is a smartphone and the fact that they're looking at memes doesn't surprise me in the slightest. But if they're gonna try and do this in a way that kind of like also makes sense, because in the world of Shrek is like seen as like partially a hero, but he's a pop culture icon and like that universe. And how you do that is you have him walk into town, you have him walk into you have Shrek walking into town, talking to the townspeople. Then you have this one mega fan of Shrek come up to him and be like, hey Shrek, look, I made this t-shirt about you, won't you wear it? And it's a t-shirt that says Shrek is love, Shrek is life, and it's in the live, laugh, love font. Because then, again, going back to the Sonic thing, it's the reference is subtle enough to where casual fans would go, oh, just a mega fan being weird and trying to give Shrek this cringy looking t-shirt with cringy looking decks. Whereas the hardcore fans are going to recognize as that, oh shit, they just referenced Shrek is love, Shrek is life. So, but like that's how I would do it if you're going to acknowledge the meme culture of Shrek in any way, shape, or form in a new movie. But the fact that they did it this way with in the teaser doesn't set the tone, doesn't give me like any sort of like positive kind of vibes. Again, we're gonna have to wait and see what the when an actual full-length trailer drops and see what they're cooking up, if they continue to embrace the meme culture. Because at the end of the day, you know, a teaser is a teaser. It's not going to show. It likely isn't a scene in the final movie. At least I hope it's not. if they continue to do this more like, oh, we're referencing the meme culture of Shrek in our full-length trailer, then I'm gonna have even lower expectations for this movie than I already have. And it's weird too, because like, you got the original cast back, everyone's coming back for their respective roles with the exception of Zendaya, who's new. That's literally like the only new thing that they announced with the teaser. Don't pan into the lowest common denominator. Yeah, I would say yes and no, because again, you want to make something that everyone is gonna like, and this is something that only, I don't know. It's again, I'm just not that I don't have high hopes. I just don't have high hopes for this, because of what's already been seen in the teaser. But yeah, was there anything else I wanted to talk about? Oh yeah, I know. I played the demo for the new Game of Thrones game that's coming out, because by the way, there's a new Game of Thrones game that's coming out. I think they dropped a trailer at the Game Awards last year. It's called Game of Thrones Kingsroad, and it was like this action RPG. It was an action RPG, and the style, it looked a lot like God of War, but set in, you know, Game of Thrones universe. And I was like, okay, this looks kind of cool. It's nice to see that we're finally getting a Game of Thrones game that isn't a mobile piece of garbage. And then I find out that it is actually gonna be a mobile game. Not a piece of garbage, because shockingly enough, because it's also being released on PC, which I'm gonna call it now, the PC release of this game is a fucking afterthought. Like, I legitimately don't believe that they intended for this game to be released on PC, but because they got so much backlash from people being like, why is this a PC game? Why isn't this a PC game? Why is it a mobile game? They were like, okay, we're gonna release on PC, fine. So I firmly believe that this PC release is an afterthought, because the demo's out right now. You can play it, and it reeks even on like high set. Like, it's on, I don't know which version of Unreal Engine it's using. Probably Unreal 4 if I had to take a guess, because it has to run on mobile devices at the end of the day. You can very clearly tell that's a mobile game first, PC game last, because the HUD is all mobile. Like if you ever played a mobile action RPG, whether it be like Diablo Immortal or I think it's Dungeon Hunter is the other popular one. You know what to expect with like those kind of games HUDs, where it's like all your abilities are on the bottom right corner. They all have like circular things for you to easily tap on. That's the same here. Even the pause menu is very mobile game esque. It even does the fucking like, it even does the whole, oh, you did this very nonchalant basic thing that players are probably gonna do anyway. Collect your challenge rewards. And here's your daily login. And it sucks because the combat isn't too bad. The combat is pretty alright. The stealth is whatever. There's like a small stealth section that's entirely optional. Yeah, it's not that good. But like some of the animations look cool. You could do like final kill animations, that looks really badass, honestly. And yeah, there's like 3 classes you can pick from. I think they're like barbarian, knight, and assassin, I think, are the 3 main ones. But it's all fine. The story is also pretty fine too. It's like it's a typical Game of Thrones story, I would assume. Because I'm gonna reveal this now. I have not read or watched Game of Thrones, so I don't really know what to expect from a story. But it's like, oh, White Walker is commanding this army of undead, plans on invading the mainland. You got to figure out a way to stop him. And Jon Snow is there, because Jon Snow is basically the poster boy of Game of Thrones. That and Peter Dinklage, I would argue. But it's like, it's a standard, it's like a standard story kind of deal. It's fine. And the combat's also fun. The problem is the fact that it's all wrapped up in a mobile game. That's literally the only problem I have with this. And also, this also is a nitpick in my personal opinion, but the equipment that you get and equip doesn't appear on your character for whatever reason. Like you get even like the first common armor that you get doesn't show up on your character. The only thing that will show up on your character is like cosmetic items. You get a cosmetic item as your first login reward, and it looks kind of cool. It looks pretty cool, but it's like the fact that your stuff just doesn't show up on your character. You know, like I don't know. It sucks. And you want even a big slap in the face is that once you reach Renan's Rest, which I assume leads into this game's like city builder aspect that you see in a lot of mobile games, a lot of mobile strategy games, that they basically end up becoming city builders. You get your first artifact, and these artifacts are meant to be like, oh, you equip them and they give you like buffs and all that, you know, standard stuff. The first artifact you get is your dad's cloak, and it's your typical badass looking Game of Thronesy cloak. You know what to expect when you think of Game of Thrones cloak. The cloak does not appear on your character when you equip it. It's like, what? I made my dude to look like a big hulking brute, and I can't give him a fucking cloak to complete the look? What is this? Like, like it's disappointing. I would like if they would have, you know, probably fix it up a bit to make the PC release actually worth something and actually make it less of a mobile game and more of a PC game, because, you know, obviously games look different when they're on different systems. But I don't know, I just the fact that I can still tell that it's a mobile game first and foremost doesn't set a good precedent for the future of that Game of Thrones game. And again, it sucks because it's the first Thrones game that we've gotten that is an action RPG, which fits for that universe. But, you know, again, it's a mobile game. And, yeah, no, it's weird to get. Hopefully WB could do something, but right now WB is too focused on closing down popular studios and locking behind great game mechanics. I do have a news story to talk about tonight. I actually kind of forgot about it, but hey, I remember today, so we're talking about it today. We're going to talk about Bungie and a lawsuit that they are currently dealing with right now. And no, it is not the lawsuit that we would probably think about with, you know, people suing them for taking away content that they paid for, and, you know, still having people pay for content that is most likely going to be taken out the next major update. It is not that. It's a different lawsuit entirely. They're actually being sued by a science fiction writer. Basically, I'm just gonna read from the article here. Last October, a science fiction author, Matthew Kelsey Martineau, launched a lawsuit against Bungie focused on a Destiny 2 enemy faction, the Red Legion, which Martineau alleges is based on his work from his WordPress blog. Naturally, something on the scale of Destiny 2 faces all sorts of troubled, all sorts of speculative lawsuits, and this didn't seem something that should have unduly troubled Bungie's lawyers. So, yeah. Author is suing Bungie because he thinks the Red Legion... he thinks Bungie copied his work, is what is being alleged here. But the juicy part about the story, funnily enough, isn't the potential copyright. No, it is the fact that Bungie lawyers have to use they have to use YouTube videos of content from old Destiny 2 that isn't in the game anymore. Because, you know, Bungie vaulted all of that old content, so it's not in the game anymore. And I think the fact that they have to pull from fan videos on YouTube, firstly, it's quite embarrassing, and it does show like, hey, Bungie, maybe you know, deleting all that old content probably wasn't a good idea. And also, this is just a me thing that I think, personally, is that the fact that they have to pull from all the YouTube videos implies that they don't have any of that footage at all in Bungie HQ. That implies that they don't have any of the footage or data from the old content saved anywhere. And that not only did they just delete that shit from the game, but they also just deleted it from their own offices. Because when you really think about it, though, they're the ones that made the game. Why would they have to pull, you know, from old YouTube videos when they should just be able to pull it straight from their like, whatever, their like data centers or servers or whatnot? Why wouldn't they be able to pull from that? I'm surprised it took 8 years for this guy to sue. That is an odd question. Because, like, why did it take him that long? I don't know, maybe he wants to, like, get the funds or something, I'm not entirely sure. But, yeah, apparently, I guess one of the named content creators in this story is Bife, which, you know, doesn't surprise, yeah, no. Bungie's lawyers then, with all the article calls it chutzpah, submitted a 10-hour lore video by YouTuber. So they had to use Bife's 10-hour long video detailing the story of Destiny all the way up to the final shape for this lawsuit. That's embarrassing. That is just actually embarrassing. And, you know, I'm also wondering, and people I'm on the same boat as well with this. People are speculating if whether or not this will potentially lead to another lawsuit towards Bungie. Because now you're going to have some legal experts that are potentially going to be looking into this case and are going, wait a minute. Isn't all this old content that they're showing off content that people paid for? Why isn't it in the game? Didn't people pay for this? And so people are wondering if this could lead Bungie down another, you know, legal rabbit hole. Only time will tell on this one, though. I don't know what story this Matthew guy made that would have that prompted him to file this lawsuit. I'll have to take a look at it and see what exactly, you know, what exactly he means by, like, the Red Legion and all that, and, like, what his version of the Red Legion is. I don't know. I'll have to read more into that. But yeah, that's a lawsuit that Bungie's currently dealing with. Is it the lawsuit that we kind of want to happen? No. It is not the one. It is not that one. Maybe, but not yet. There's a lot of, I don't normally wish legal troubles on, like, companies and all that, or like major game companies, but there's a lot of exceptions, I feel. Like Bungie obviously kind of being one of the big ones, with, like, obviously them vaulting all the content. I've also speculated as to why no one's investigated Star Citizen, given that game is still technically not complete, but they have taken, like, I think it's like $8 million from their whole community and still don't have a 1.0 version of that game out yet, and it's been almost 10 years. I think it has been over 10 years, actually. But yeah, that's basically it. As always, when it comes to these sort of gaming lawsuits, I'll try and keep you guys posted when I can. We saw the conclusion of one lawsuit about a couple weeks ago, and, you know, smaller updates, other ongoing lawsuits in the gaming space. I'm sure this one won't be any different. So.